Hey there guys, Jerry here, aka Sergeant Siage, back in here with another video, and today we're going to be going over some fragrances, especially dupes that don't get talked about nearly as much as what they used to or whenever they originally came out, or maybe there's other things in the similar style of DNA that do it a little bit better, but these still hold their own in terms of being a great scent. I have 7, dupes here, and then, at least in terms of like scent profile or DNA, and then 1 designer here. So let's start off here with the designer of choice, which is going to be Aqua Essenziale Blue. I was kind of debating going with either this one or, another one in the line here, but I like this one the most. You could probably throw like Coach for Men in here is relatively cheap, or Coach Green is also another pretty good one that I would say you can get away with wearing all year round. But this one, to me, this holds a special place because this is one that I wore a decent amount here. You can see there's a little bit of a dent in the top of it here. Whenever I first got back into fragrances, it was just a good $25, $30, wear. Lasts about 5 to 6 hours. It's not, overly pungent or offensive, so it's going to be fine for running errands during the day. Pretty much doing almost anything during the day, you're going to be fine with this. You can pull it off going to the gym because it is definitely a clean, powderiness in this. It's not, an overly, almost like, it's not like a baby powder or like an irisy, powdery, like makeup style of, iris that's in here. I don't know if there's iris in this fragrance in general. I don't remember the notes exactly to this, but I want to say there's either iris or like Oros in this. So yeah, but all in all, this stuff is just a fantastic wear. Again, 5 to 6 hours of longevity, just a very clean scent profile in general. I would say it closely resembles, or maybe like distant cousins of like something like Dylan Blue. So yeah, and that's another one that you can easily slide in here. Dylan Blue is another one that I've worn a good amount as well. But going to the dupe side of things here, we're going to start off here with this one, another one that TLTG talks about a lot, or at least used to. But it still makes his daily rotation a decent amount. This is going to be Paris Corner's Coconut Lagoon. And I think this one falls under the radar now because of Aquatica, and now you're going to start seeing probably even more companies go after this like Virgin Island water DNA, especially here coming up in the summertime, I feel like. But this one does it in a different fashion. This is more of a very twisted Virgin Island water, a more candied version of the DNA itself. I wouldn't say it's even like maybe 50% close to the DNA, and then like the other 50%, it is a very like, I don't want to say like lemon lime Skittles style of scent. It is more a fun style of scent profile if you're going out for like a beach party or something like that. This is perfect because it's only going to last about 4 to 5 hours. That's kind of its biggest downfall here. It is not a very strong in terms of its longevity. Its projection and stuff is fine for the first hour or so, but this is one that is a fragrance that I would describe as it is here for a good time, but not a long time. So take that for what you will, and we will move on to the next one. The next one here is one that is, I talked about it in a short, and that is going to be Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. And ever since I got this stuff last year, I have always said this is sort of a perfect fragrance for somebody that only wants to spend $35 to $40 on, 1, maybe 2 fragrances out there, and then be covered. So this stuff will cover you for just about every occasion. Maybe not every single occasion, but most occasions you're going to be covered. And I usually typically get 8 hours with this stuff at the very least. I usually get in that 8 to 9 hour range, but I would say comfortably 8 hours, 9 hours pushing it here a little bit, but all in all, good stuff here. It's sort of a Sauvage-esque, I would say a more floral, Sauvage-esque style of DNA with like a pinch, a little sliver of Aventus in the top, and that sliver only lasts maybe about a minute, and then it goes away. So if you're sick and tired of like the Aventus profile, you know, don't be scared to go after something like this, because this stuff is great for what it is. It came out in like 2022, got, I don't want to say a lot of hype back then, but it definitely got a little bit back then, and then it sort of went away for a bit. And now some like bigger content creators are talking about it here and there, and this stuff, I mean, it's just solid stuff for what it is. So it's just one of those things. It is a Swiss Army knife of the dupe realm. Next up here, we'll talk about this one here, because I got my hands on this one recently. At some point in time, I will probably get a full bottle of this stuff here, and this is Olfactory Zone here by Barrett Fragrances. This is a little 10 ml bottle of it. But this is going after Acqua di Gio Profumo. Maybe not exactly the same, but whenever I put it up against the Parfum, which I have from 2024, it does seem like it is a slight, an ever so slight bit more incensey than that one. And it's pretty close. I'm not going to say 1-to-1. I'm not going to say they're the exact same or anything like that, but where I do and am impressed with this stuff is its projection and its longevity. I get right around that 8-hour mark with this stuff, and it pops off my skin. So I don't know if it's skin chemistry with me or what have you with this style of DNA, but it seems to pop off my skin a decent amount. I am kind of known to be a human furnace, so I would imagine that has something to do with it, but all in all, I think this stuff is great, but I probably won't go after a full bottle of this for a little bit, because this will last me a good amount of time, because I have other scents that go after this DNA as well. Next up here, we'll talk about this one I talked about in a short here recently, and I kind of have two fragrances here for the price of one. This is going to be, well, two birds with one stone. Not two for the price of one, but Armaf's Odyssey Aqua. This is super underrated. This stuff is one of the few fragrances here that I've smelt where I would say that this is better than the original here. There is some kind of green note in the original that I'm not a big fan of, whereas this kind of gets rid of it or smooths it out enough to where I don't, notice it at all. This is more grapefruit, minty. I pick up the cypress in this a little bit more. And I'm a big fan of cypress here. I love like Polo 67 EDP. That's like why I love it. I can pick up the like cypress in there a little bit too. I used to have like a lotion from like Bath and Body Works that used to have cypress in it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But I just adore this stuff. This is a little bit fresher. It kind of gets compared to Bad Boy Cobalt 2. It's going after Invictus Platinum, but Platinum and Bad Boy Cobalt sort of occupy the same realm. This is a bit fresher than Bad Boy Cobalt, but if you wanted something in that more Bad Boy Cobalt range, you could go for Shiyaaka Shadow. This is the newest one, I believe, on the list here. This came out last year. I think this stuff is super underrated too. I think this is like a top 5, maybe top 3. I would say top 5 Khadlaj fragrance in terms of their catalog, but this is definitely the best Shiyaaka in the line, and I don't think it's relatively close here between the four for men at least. But all in all, I think this stuff is great and fantastic. Both of these get right around that 7-hour mark in terms of like longevity. I would say for me, I get a little bit more out of this one. I get about 8 hours, but I can confidently say 7 in terms of its longevity. Projection-wise, I would say that this booms off the skin a little bit better, especially for the first 90 minutes. This is kind of an average projection for the first hour to 90 minutes too. So more woody, a little bit deeper, added plum note. And this one is more fresher, grapefruit, mint, a little bit aquatic, going after that Invictus style of DNA. Next up here, we are going to talk about Dumont Celerio Oros. This stuff to me is also one of those ones that's super underrated. I also feel like Dumont, ever since like the Nitro Gold stuff here, is getting a decent amount of hate. So I've been kind of going back in the like older catalog of stuff that they have and sort of revisiting that. So this stuff is fantastic for what it is. Yes, it's going after the Aventus style of DNA, but to me, this is a more apple forward style scent. There's something about this fragrance here. To me, I typically always wear this stuff on like a day like today that's in the 50s. It's raining. The oak moss in here just has like this, to me, it's not a dryness to it. It's an earthy, like dewy, almost like a morning dew style of like scent profile. So to me, this is sort of, Aventus Hachivat related here, more of like a Aventus style opening, a little bit of a Hachivat dry down. It's earthier than like Supremacy Not Only Intense, but it still retains some of the Aventus stuff, where I would say that Supremacy Not Only Intense has a fruity, very fruity opening, and then I would say is a little bit more drier in its dry down here. It's a dry earthiness to that one. So all in all, I love this stuff. It usually gives me right around 7 to 8 hours in terms of longevity. Projection-wise, it's above average for the first hour, hour and a half, but after that, it kind of, reels itself into average. So it's not super strong like, Club de Nuit straight, or anything like that, or the original Club de Nuit, or even the EDP, I would say, is a stronger projector than this one. But all in all, this stuff is still fantastic for what it is. I wish it was priced a little bit better. I think it's like anywhere between like $40, $45, it seems like, but in terms of quality, I mean, this stuff is also like pretty good. So easy recommendation there. Next up here will be the last one I talked about on the shorts here, and this is going to be Turathi Blue. This is easy. I mean, it's grapefruit, musk, a little bit of woods. This one in particular has ambroxan in it. One that you could talk about here doesn't really have that much ambroxan. I think like this one's a little bit more aromatic. Is Mason Asrar's Majesty, but that's like relatively new. I think this one came out last year. This one came out in like 2021, I believe. And for the price point, you're not going to beat it. It's usually like 7 hours of longevity. Has more of a shower gel style feel in the dry down, it feels like, because of that ambroxan. But the opening to this, like if you are a fan of grapefruit, I mean, it is going to be fantastic for you to wear. It's why of all these ones, I would say that this one probably gets talked about the most still to this day. And there's a reason for it. It is just that good for the price point here. I don't think you're going to beat it at the like $25 to $30 price range here right now. And then lastly here, we get one that does not get talked about nearly at all nowadays. And this is from Dumont, but it is from their Ramon Blazar line. This is Dumont Imperial. This stuff is fantastic. I always describe it as a very elegant scent in a bottle. Yes, it is going to remind you sort of the Aventus style of DNA, but not really. This is going more after Electimus's Imperium. It is more of a citrusy, creamy, vanillic style of scent profile to me. But all in all, this stuff is just fantastic. If you have anything that you need to dress up for, I would say you can go with this. If you want something that's not going to be super cloying or anything like that, or if you want to wear something during the winter time that's not going to be cloying on like a date or something like that, where you typically are going to wear more like spicy scents or sweeter scent profiles, you could go with this and get away with it because it's very versatile in terms of seasons too. So all in all, you know, it kind of checks all the boxes here and does everything relatively well. So I like this stuff a lot. And I'm sure, you know, a lot of people out there that do have this could vouch for it too. But I don't think a lot of people really know about this stuff. It seems like this one, there was like a red bottle. The red bottle one's sort of like the black sheep of the group, of like the group of four. The green one, I think Vestige got a decent amount of hype towards it too. And the black one, Baron, I think it's called, also got a decent amount of hype behind it too because of the scent profile it's going after. But this one was kind of like third in line, I would say, and does not get enough attention that it deserves. I like it a lot, and there's nothing offensive about it or anything like that. It is smooth all the way through. But that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it here a little bit. I figured why not throw something out there about some, you know, in terms of dupes, these are older. But I would say, you know, if we're just talking about fragrances in general, no, they're not, because 2 or so years is nothing in like the general consensus. But in terms of dupes, where the market is constantly moving and moving and moving, yeah, 2 years is a long time. So I figured why not do a video on it. But that's going to wrap it up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.